What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are here at Highland Brewery, and the very first time in a very long time we're doing a Highland putter review, and this is the Silva Saarinen Proxy. This is in the Proton Soft Particle Glow, so it does actually have a little bit of give to it. This is going to be really fun to throw. Let's go ahead and get into it. Start off on the long pad for hole number one. Let's see if we can lace this fairway. A little more stable than I anticipated, and the crosswind definitely pushed it. Yeah. Not likely to go in, but really close. You know, this probably was pretty close to going in. That basket, not this one. Okay. Nice and easy. Double bogey to start. We kind of gave ourselves a bit of an uphill climb, metaphorically and physically, but Proxy is amazing. This Proxy feels like it's gonna fly really well. We had some first time throwing mishaps on the first couple there, but we're gonna get those ironed out, and it is Proton, so theoretically it's gonna fly very well for me. Once again, at the long pad here on hole number two, this one is 258 feet. So theoretically, it should be a firm throw, but not a crush. Let's go with firm. Maybe this much hyzer. Well, that's unfortunate. Hopefully we can get off a 1 and 2 soon, and we can start actually making up some strokes. Okay, that's gonna leave us a tricky look, I think. I put it too flat. It needed to stay on hyzer, but to give it the spin to get up the hill, I kind of flattened out my wrist. I always forget where this basket is. I keep thinking it's over there, and it's not. The basket's in the short pin position. So it's actually edge of circle. That feels really good on a putt. The Proton has something to do with it, but I think it's just so soft and flexible, you can really just kind of dig your thumb into it. It gives you a little bit more grip that way because it's the Proton Soft. It does have the same little, like, it's not really webbing. It almost looks like strings where the glow particles were injected and the Proton was injected at a slightly different rate because of different melt portions. So you can see some texturing, but while this one has more particles, it's really not as textured even as the big germ disc was. Hole 3, 245. We're gonna try to go with just a really slow turnover. The wind is coming off of the angle to make it more difficult to do this shot, but this is what the shot calls for. Do I need to start bagging a proxy? That was incredible. This feels almost more neutral. I don't know if it's neutral or flippy, or just, this feels like it has a tiny bit more want to stay on anhyzer than the Neutron Soft does. This is a really nice proxy. So park drop on hole 3, double bogey on 1 though, so we are still 1 over par. And the basket's back in the long on 4. So from this, it is 338. Likelihood is we might get far enough to have a putt because there is a tailwind. So I'm gonna put on a soft hyzer and I'm gonna throw it pretty hard, and let's see how much this flips. So the interesting thing about the Axiom MVP lineup is that the watt is called a negative 0.5, and the proxy is called a negative 1.5 fade. The watt flips much faster than a proxy does, and the proxy is a good bit more stable in this plastic and in the Neutron Soft than the Plasma Soft Watt side was throwing. So is proxy actually more understable than a watt? I think it's the other way around. I think the proxy will get you some flip, but this proxy feels almost like the perfect amount of beat in that I get a Skywalk or a Skyguide 4 up to. It's a little bit of flip, but it pretty much just holds the line with a tiny little bit of finish at the end. This is a really good disc. Props to Axiom, props to Silvasar, and this is amazing. Okay, it's good for circle edge putts, but because I'm so used to putting with the lip now from the Rhino in the range, long range probably not the best for me. But it's another par, which is better than a bogey. And next hole, well, let's see what happens, but it might be another park drop. We're gonna be playing to the long basket here, 285. I think I'm gonna try to throw it as flat as possible and see what happens. I think that's a good way to test out discs. Sometimes you really do need to hit them on hyzer because you're scared that they're gonna flip too much. But sometimes to get the actual true flight path characteristics, throw it as close to flat as possible and get to see what it actually will do. I turned it. That was the tiniest bit of rolling on my wrist. Tiniest bit of anhyzer into the tree. That's unfortunate, but now we have another scramble. Easy par. The next hole is going to be an interesting one because it's a little bit more headwindy. It's like a head crosswind. This is what it feels like the wind will be. And it's just a very, very straight tunnel shot that you really do kind of have to pipe, and you have to be perfect, or else you just won't quite make it all the way to the bottom. I don't know what this happened, but they're starting to turf up some of the wooden tee pads. They're Highland, and well, I'll tell you how I feel about it after the throw, because I don't know if I'm gonna like it or hate it. It's really good that they are trying to make course changes. All right, 325. Can we stay straight enough with the head right to left wind? I I'm going to be reviewing footage on that because I am unsure as to whether it torque flipped because of the wind, or did I just actually roll like I did on the last hole. I should have committed to more hyzer. It was turning. We'll be fair to it. It was turning more than I was expecting it, more than I gave it credit for. But this headwind, the tailwind was making it pretty overstable. The headwind was going to make it a good bit less. So I think to really determine if this is more or less stable than the Neutron Soft, I do have to go get a Neutron Soft. But this proxy is possibly my most favorite proxy I've thrown. And flight aside, for one simple reason, hand feel. Proton Soft feels absolutely phenomenal. I hate to see it. Another bogey. That brings us back to 2 over. Not too many more holes left to play, so we do kind of have to shoot perfect if we want to make it to under par, period. But sorry, you probably weren't even facing me. If we want to make it back to under par, period, we do have to shoot perfect. 3 in a row. It's possible. The wind may say otherwise. Basket on 7 is back in the middle position, so 264. We are playing from the short pad because while that is a really fun shot, it's not a proxy shot. This is much more of a proxy shot. We want to go straight, have a little bit of a finish left, so punch it on some hyzer, throw it firm, but not overly powerful. We just want it to stay on the hyzer, drift left. It was gonna be an okay shot, and then a tree kick helped us out. That might be a makeable putt. Thank you, tree. 199 feet. Another new tee pad, turf tee pad. This turf is pretty grippy. I'd be interested to see how it beats in, because I know that turf can become kind of flattened down over time and as it rains on it. This turf, just brand new, feels pretty good. Let's see if we can give it a credible ace run. Well, not really a credible ace run, but I think we might be able to get another birdie here. If that's the case, which, yeah, that's close enough. I can call out a birdie. Can we throw the turnover well enough with the headwind to get a birdie on 9? That's the question. The wind might make it a little bit tricky. What I will say about this proxy is it's not quite as much flip up as I was expecting, because typically for me, Proton tends to exemplify the flight numbers given to it, whereas Neutron feels a little bit more muted, so I would expect more of that -1 to be not quite a -1 from Neutron until you beat it up. This one I kind of expected to be a little bit more -1, but the proxy may just be a more stable mold than the Watt. It may have a more stable rim and a higher parting line, which would in turn mean that this is more stable. And this is one of the best brand new off-the-shelf neutral throwing putters ever. This is one of the best ones I've ever thrown, and I've been playing for many years. Let's see if we can fight the wind with a little bit of Proton, a little bit of glow. 203 around to the right. I hung it out too wide. We can still make par, but birdie is almost off the table. That was terrible. Terrible putt. It was supposed to be a run and that was nowhere close. The Proxy is one of those molds where if I could get it out of my head that it's an understable putter, it's gonna be perfect. I'm gonna love it. I keep looking at the flight numbers and I can't get the flight numbers out of my head. The Proxy is not that understable. It's a pretty neutral putter, a little bit of turn, a little bit of fade. It's not a -1. It just isn't. This Proxy it's like got not even a 0.5 turn. It's got like a 0.25 turn. It just doesn't really turn. Very, very neutral. Has a tiny, tiny bit of a finish at the end. But it's amazing. Hopefully you guys are enjoying content like this. If so, please make sure to like the video. If you want to see new stuff, make sure to comment all of that down below. Especially if you guys are like, yay, we love the Highland putter reviews. We want to bring those back. Make sure to comment those down below. I'll try to get more of those out. And until next time, please make sure you're subscribing, and I'll see you out on the course.